This episode of the Cartoon Palooza is brought to you by Clayton, who for $1 per month is able to get a special privilege and suggested this month's theme, which is Saturday morning cartoon movies. If you'd like to know more and find out ways that you can get a special privilege, all you gotta do is go to my Patreon page and donate $1 per month, or at least just find out more information and let somebody else know who might be interested as well. Link is in the description box below. I'm Joey.T.Cartoon.P, and you're watching the Cartoon Palooza. So I get it, the month's over and I should be talking about a new theme. But there's this one movie I really want to talk about, and it's got that new upcoming TV reboot coming out, so I'm doing it. We're talking DuckTales. Even before the popular Disney afternoon show was showcasing the adventures of Uncle Scrooge and his nephews, the characters were already making waves in the funny pages. Cartoonists like Barks and Del Rosa would use original characters along with Disney creations and put them in larger-than-life adventures. These comics were so influential and inspired innovations as well as films from the works of Spielberg to Christopher Nolan. Stories like Finding Lost Artifact to incepting concepts into dreams were all done before Raiders of the Lost Ark or Inception came out, and it was featuring Donald Duck and his uncle. Therefore, having Uncle Scrooge go on an adventure for the big screen was not a bad idea, and this brings us to their first cinematic adventure, DuckTales, Treasure of the Lost Lamp. Uncle Scrooge comes across a map to find an ancient relic of unimaginable wealth. They discover a magic lamp which provides them with a genie, voiced by a well-known manic comedian, that grants his nephews 3 wishes. Unfortunately, they got a magic warlock on their trail finding the treasure for himself, and will go to all costs to find it. So saying that this shares some similarities to that other Disney animated film with the talking genie is kind of an understatement. And yeah, you can debate me on this because this movie came out before Aladdin. However, you can't deny when you got similar studios and animators working together that they talk about certain things that, you know, is always a possibility that they were sharing notes from one another. Conspiracies aside, the first third of this movie plays out like your typical episode of DuckTales. Scrooge, Launchpad, the nephews, and girl are looking for the treasure of Kali Baba. I love these puns. Scrooge has been searching for this treasure for many years, or at least that's what the movie tells us. I'm almost certain this is the first time hearing about this treasure, but whatever. They have the evil shape-shifting wizard Murloc after them, along with his henchman Dijon. What follows is action, adventure, danger, look behind you, there's a stranger out to find you. And I don't know the rest of the words, so DuckTales. Woohoo. Why not? We'll go with that. Jokes aside, this is a great portion of the film. Seeing Scrooge and the gang fight off man-eating scorpions, booby traps, and fit in a couple of Ninja Turtle references is a lot of fun. I ain't kidding. See it for yourself.
It's turtle time!
It isn't until they go back to Duckburg do things get less focused on the traditional action and more on the nephews and Webby finding Kali Baba's genie. So if I gotta be 100% honest, this is where the movie feels less like DuckTales and more like Aladdin. And for me, this is where the movie kind of falters a little. When Scrooge finds the lamp, this is where things get interesting because you get to see the personality of these two characters clash. We all know Scrooge is a character, smart, swift, and bold, but most importantly, cheap. Therefore, when you see the genie try to convince Scrooge to use his wishes to get away from Murloc, he's going out of his way just so he can save his wishes for money. I mean, I really love the dialogue between these two characters. It's some great personality to it, and you get to really see the characters for who they are. As two characters dealing with each other while also having to work together, having both Scrooge and Genie act like buddy cops is really awesome. But then again, you got that second act of the film where the nephews and Weeby find the lamp, they make their wishes, and it's not nearly as fun. Outside of mentioning how this feels like DuckTales ripping off Aladdin, you got cliched story tropes of the kids trying to have a secret from the adults, and we've seen this done from Goonies to E.T. Now we got the extra cliche of the girl character. Now I know what you're thinking, Weeby was always part of the series, so this isn't directly criticizing the movie as opposed to the characters on the show. And to that, you're absolutely right. Weeby was the form of the stereotypical girly girl who wants to be one of the guys. While this was a noble effort to make girls feel more accepted in male-driven media, it only drove it further apart. When you put a giant bow on something reminding you of girly cliches, it don't make you feel equal. In fact, it only alienates it more. Now, to give you an example, this is for all the wrestling fans out there. Remember how female wrestlers were given that stupid butterfly championship belt? How degrading was that? These chicks can break your back in 5 different ways, and you're gonna reward them with a stupid butterfly. It's the same thing with Weeby. It don't help her case because in the movie, her antics are what mess things up. Therefore, her wishes cause the nephews to lose their wishes, which then gives Murloc an opportunity to steal the lamp. Thanks a lot, Weeby. Or Webby. Or however you pronounce your name, because I really don't care. Here's to hoping your character in the reboot gives you a well-deserved upgrade. But let's talk about my favorite characters in this movie, like Murloc. His character would have been easy for animators to turn him into a Jafar clone, but that's not what they do. Murloc as a character was given the DuckTales villain treatment, which in DuckTales is a really big deal. He had the character, personality, and design we've come to expect from the DuckTales Rose Gallery. Now take this and give him the voice of Christopher Lloyd and you got a match made in heaven. When Murloc has possession of the lamp, seeing him transform Scrooge's money vault into an evil lair was some of the best visual animation in the film, turning a setting into a character in itself. If there's one thing I'd like to have seen in this movie, it would have been having other DuckTales characters in it. That was something I was thinking about when it came to the character Dijon. In the show, a lot of the villains were dog characters. However, Dijon shares a lot of similar qualities to another breed of dogs in Disney lore. Much like Dijon, the Beagle Boys were infamous crooks out for Uncle Scrooge's wealth. Because Dijon eventually wishes for all of his wealth, wouldn't it make more sense for Dijon to be a distant relative to the Beagle Boys? It's not a big deal and it doesn't make or break the film, but I thought it would have been kind of fun to do that. With all that said and done, DuckTales Treasure of the Lost Lamp is still a very well made movie. Despite an act slowing things down and the very obvious Aladdin comparisons, the movie does give you everything you like about the series and more. The animation is fluid, the action is easy to follow, and the characters are engaging. And I'm totally fine with recommending this to anybody who doesn't have to be a fan of the series. Would I trade Scrooge's priceless first dime for this? Probably not, but it's worth a few quarters or two out of his infamous money bank. So my question for today is regarding the new reboot of DuckTales. Are you looking forward to it? I know I am. And again, I know I stated this in the beginning of the video, but a special shout out to Clayton for giving me this month's theme of Saturday morning cartoons. This was a lot of fun, and if you want to know more information, all you gotta do is visit my Patreon page to find out more. I'm Joey.T.Cartoon.P, and thanks for watching this review on the Cartoon Palooza.